my dear fellow survivor. I'm so honored you're here with me today because today I answer a question that we all have as survivors, and every survivor before joining our Music Can Heal Me coaching journey asked me this question. This question I had myself for years, really. If I don't know which steps to follow and in which order, and I'm completely lost, how am I supposed to heal? Rightfully so. And this question seems to stem from confusion and lack of clarity. So what we need to know is that every survivor has their own unique instructions kit to heal, but we can't unlock this kit if we're not tuned into the right frequency. What do I mean by frequency? I mean energy, right? So if we have this heavy energy all the time, if we practice destructive habits all the time, then we're not raising our spiritual fitness. So we're not unlocking that special instructions kit, right? But if on the other hand, we're practicing healing habits and we're raising our frequency, then we can unlock that instructions kit and be able to follow a healing plan. Because by practicing healing habits, we gain clarity, we're less confused, and also we know which steps to take because we see that they're helping us, right? But if we keep taking unhelpful steps and practicing time and time and time again, like I did for years, those unhelpful steps, we're just, creating more confusion and getting even less clarity. So how are we supposed to have any type of healing plan when we do that? And so what I mean by spiritual fitness is a way to access your soul. And it's something that, as a survivor, I never had to do until I became a survivor, right? I didn't know about the soul. I didn't know about deeper inner world work, right? Well, that was the problem, because I didn't know, and I stayed stuck in those destructive habit loops for way too long. But when I found out about, okay, if I raise my frequency by listening to music, just being playful, just laughing, finding joy, finding gratitude, finding all these things that raise our frequency, I can also raise my spiritual fitness. I can create some clarity. I can be less confused. I can actually just know which steps to take and in which order, rather than keep chasing somebody who's telling me, hey, do this and do that, right? If you're anything like I was for years, and music and healers as well, you're probably on the internet, looking for answers. What do I do? How do I do it? Well, that's not going to get you anywhere, right? Because you have to follow your own guidance. That's why if you don't have any discussions with your soul angel or angels, then you're not going to get that guidance. It all starts from there, right? So when I built a bridge between my soul and my two soul angels, I received the guidance. I received the instructions. I received the steps. I created some clarity. I was no longer searching, what do I do to heal? I was no longer searching. I just knew. And then once I understood, okay, I need to rewire my brain. I need to rewire my nervous system. I need to, so that I can practice healing habits more often than destructive habits. Then I did the research. Then I understood, okay, got to practice breath work, got to practice meditation, got to practice anything that keeps raising my frequency some more so that my spiritual fitness can be built some more. And then just keep going with that until organically it just becomes super clear. It just becomes super clear. There's no more confusion. There's understanding. There's love. There's a soul to soul angel connection. That is how we get the instructions kit, right? So what works for you might not work for another survivor. What works for me might not work for you. Same thing, right? So that's why you need to follow your own higher guidance. Connect with your soul angel or angels. Get that clarity, get those steps, and then take action, bit by bit. Do something that's doable today, do something that's doable tomorrow, and you'll see you'll make a lot of progress because you're going to be cultivating a frequency that just calls in healing. That's what we need to do. But if we're in this lower vibe, this lower frequency, stuck in destructive habits, we don't digest our emotions, we don't digest our thoughts by journaling, for example, or singing or writing, anything at all, then of course we're going to have indigestion. Of course those emotions are going to get stronger and stronger and become avalanches. But guess what? You can also create healing avalanches, right? Practice gratitude. Get some nature time, right? I'm always in nature for a reason, still to this day, 10 years later. Because those things help with my frequency and they help with my spiritual fitness. If you don't do any physical exercise, do physical exercise, because if you're not physically fit, you can't be spiritually fit. It just doesn't work together, right? There's got to be a flow, there's got to be a momentum, there's got to be balance, right? But start with this connection, start with the discussions with your soul angel or angels, and you'll see, you too will be able to build that bridge, soul to soul angel connection. You'll gain the clarity, you'll gain the steps, and you'll be able to do it one day at a time. So my dear fellow survivor, I say this with all my heart. Please take good care of yourself, and may you be filled with music and heal.